Hi loves, today we're going to talk about the Holly Ellsworth-Clark case in Hamilton, Ontario. She is still unfortunately missing. She has been missing since January of 2020. So let's talk about the case, see if any of you recall anything and if we can get any more tips submitted to the police and to the family. Holly was born in Newfoundland. She was raised in Calgary and she moved to Toronto, and at the time of her disappearance, she was living in Hamilton, Ontario. Holly moved from Calgary to Toronto to be with her boyfriend and to be in a band. Unfortunately, they broke up. The band also broke up, so she moved to Hamilton with one of her bandmates to further her music career. Unfortunately, that band also didn't work out and she decided to be a solo artist. So she was performing in Hamilton as a solo artist at the time that she went missing. And she was also living with other musicians at the time that she went missing as well. To give you some information about Hamilton, Hamilton has a population of 536,917, and the crime stats there are listed to be 3,953 per 100,000, and of those, 807 per 100,000 are violent crimes. Holly is 27 years old. She's 6 feet tall, 200 pounds, has an athletic build, hazel eyes, and long, dark blonde hair. She was last seen wearing a long sleeve black shirt, black pants, black boots, and possibly she could have been carrying a black backpack. She was said not to have been dressed for the weather that day. It was windy and raining in Hamilton that day. She was described as being outgoing, sweet, ambitious, and talented. As I've mentioned, she was a musician and she was actually also previously a wrestler with the University of Calgary. There she won 1 silver medal and 3 gold medals there. Very impressive. Holly visited her family for Christmas, and when she returned to Hamilton, her family and friends said that she became very emotional. This could have had a lot to do with her being homesick after visiting her family and seeing what it was like to be with her family again. This could have been the cause of that, but there wasn't much description around this. But the news articles did state that she was very emotional after she returned to Hamilton. 2 days before she went missing, she said that she was chased at night by 2 men. There was also a broken window in her apartment, and people weren't sure why this window was broken. It could have been broken if she was trying to get into her apartment without those 2 men seeing her. To me, it makes sense that you could break that window to get in safely without being seen, depending on the location of the window. If it was on the side of the building or the back of the building, if her keys were only for a front entrance, people could visibly see you walk into that apartment then. This could be an explanation of why that window was broken. It is important to note that the window was broken previously to the day that she went missing. When Holly told her roommates about the chase that she had experienced, her roommates called 911 because they were worried about her mental well-being. There wasn't much information about this interaction with her roommates or with the police when she spoke with them. I couldn't find any information on this in any of the articles that I read. So I would like to know more about this. Was it a positive interaction? Did they believe her? Were there any reports? Did she file a report? I'm curious about what that interaction was like. If it made her feel better about the situation or worse about the situation. To have such little information about this when it could be potentially linked to her disappearance seems strange, but sometimes police do hold back certain pieces of information when they have an ongoing investigation happening for a reason. On January 10th, Holly had left her parents a very emotional voicemail, and it basically stated that what had happened to her with regards to the chase and the 2 men, and then the fact that she wanted to come home. And she basically wanted to come home yesterday. She wanted to come home right now. She didn't want to be in Hamilton any longer, and it was very clear in her voice and what she was asking, that she just wanted to leave. She wanted to come home right now. I will link the voicemail below in case you would like to listen to it. I don't think the full voicemail is there because the portion of her discussing the chase, I didn't hear that portion, so I don't know if that was on a separate voicemail or if it was just cut. And this was the only piece that they wanted to give to the public to listen to. Her parents did not hear this voicemail until after her disappearance, but her father did speak to her on January 11th and told her he would come and get her. So they did know about the chase at this point on January 11th, and with how she was feeling and that she wanted to come home now, they were aware of that, but they didn't listen to that voicemail the day that she sent it. It is noteworthy that the day that Holly left her apartment, she wasn't dressed for the weather and didn't bring her coat, and she also didn't bring her phone with her either. There is footage of Holly leaving her apartment and of her walking. Here is a snippet from the first video of her leaving and walking. So here you can see what she's wearing, that description of a long sleeve black shirt, black pants. You can see that she's fully dressed in black, and then you can see her walking away from the building. I'm not entirely sure if I see the black bag, possibly on that third image close to her hip on the right hand side. There could be a bag there, but then on the fourth image, you can't really see it, but it could be the way she's holding it. Here is a snippet from another video of her walking. So this is someone else's surveillance cameras that caught her walking. Here you can see that she put a garbage bag over the top portion of her body to use as a poncho because it was raining. And then she's carrying what looks like a second garbage bag, and the contents of this garbage bag is completely unknown at this point. It could really be anything. It could be the backpack that was mentioned if she's trying to keep it from getting wet. She could have picked up things after she left the house and decided to put it into a garbage bag. Some articles stated that she did have cash on her and that she wouldn't need to use her debit cards because her debit cards have not been used since she went missing. So it is possible that she had money on her, that she was able to purchase items without having to use her debit cards. She was last seen at 4:50 p.m. on video on January 11th. When I personally watched these videos of her walking, I felt like she was walking with purpose. That's how I took the way she was walking. But let me read a quote from her father, someone who knows her personally. Quote, "It shows she's not just running in panic, distraught, getting soaked in the very cold rain. It shows she's got her wits about her, a little bit at least, and maybe fully. We don't really know whether she's gone off after a mental breakdown or if she's completely in her right mind. But she's walking along with her usual determined stride. She's still herself." End quote. So that last little bit there, as someone who doesn't know Holly, I felt like she was walking with purpose, and then her father, someone who knows her the best out of anyone in the world, is saying she's walking along with her usual determined stride. So this is how she walks. So she seems calm. She seems like she may be in her right mind right now, but we don't know that for sure. There were multiple video clips from security cameras that were caught on January 11th that showed Holly walking near Sanford Avenue North and Cannon Street East. So here are some snippets from Google Maps so you can see a little bit of what the area looked like and what was surrounding the area. I actually lived in Hamilton, but I don't know much at all about this area. Sanford Avenue North and Barton Street East was also mentioned in some news articles. So here's a snippet of that location as well, very, very close to the first location listed. Again, same neighborhood. She was last caught on camera walking on Wentworth Street North, heading toward Shaw Street. So again, some snippets from Google Maps with this area as well. I looked up these areas to see what people's thoughts were on the community there, and it was completely mixed. Many people think this neighborhood is sketchy, others think it's one of the best neighborhoods in Hamilton. So it was very, very mixed on what people's thoughts were. In this area, I was actually, where it shows Hamilton General Hospital, I was in that hospital once. But that's the only time I think I've ever been in this neighborhood. And then I wanted to show the first location that was named and the last, so you can see how she's walking. So basically, the first location that people mention is down on the right hand side, and then Wentworth Street heading towards Shaw, which would be heading towards the industrial sector and where the water is here. That's the way she is walking, but this was the last spot that she was seen on camera. The police said Holly was, quote, in crisis, end quote, at the time that she went missing, and that they do not expect foul play. I think the general public has a really hard time accepting that the police think there's no foul play. But in the police's defense, we as the public don't have all of the information that the police have gathered through their investigation. We don't know what the interaction was between Holly and the police after her roommates called 911 regarding the chase and how Holly was feeling that day. We have very limited information, so I'm sure the police have good reason to think that there was no foul play. It's just that we don't know what that piece of information is. There were unconfirmed sightings of Holly by 3 people, a couple and then a single man, and they stated that they saw Holly in the Budget Inn in Hamilton. One of the people told the family that they saw Holly, she was very drugged, and she was with a man. So this was the description that the family of Holly was given by this person who had the sighting. Of course, Holly's family asked the police to search the inn. The police were stated to have said that they couldn't search every room in the inn because they would need warrants for every room in the inn. But it was later said that they did indeed search the property and every room, and that Holly was not located. Here's a photo of the Budget Inn, and if I pull this up on Google Maps, it's actually very close to the first location, close to her home. So it's about a 6-minute walk from where she was first seen that day after she left her home. And that would make it about a 16-minute walk from the last location she was seen on Wentworth and Shaw. Police have used many resources at their disposal to try to find Holly, including their, quote, canine unit, ground search and rescue, the criminal investigative division, and their patrol and action unit, end quote. On February 3rd, there was a woman caught on a surveillance camera. Family and friends of Holly believe it is Holly. Police were unable to confirm because of the poor quality of the video. The woman was wearing different clothes than what Holly was wearing when she went missing, but this was also 3 weeks after she went missing. So it makes sense that she could potentially have found more clothes or bought more clothes to wear. So I don't think that means it wasn't Holly because she wasn't in all black. Despite police not being able to confirm if it was Holly or not on the video, they did search the area where this video was taken, and they did not find any signs of Holly. In early March, Holly's family packed up her apartment. Her father said, quote, "It's heartbreaking. We went into her place to find she had arranged it very nicely. She had houseplants, seeds, and things she had planned to do in the future, including her artwork and her music. To have to go in and take it all apart is heartbreaking. It's hard to clean up somebody's dreams and aspirations," end quote. The fact that they cleaned up her apartment does not mean that they have stopped searching for Holly. Her family and friends are still very much searching for Holly right now. For theories, there have been many theories put out there regarding Holly's case, from a schizophrenic break to trafficking, drug use, and her hiding from someone, such as the two men that were chasing her previously. It is possible for her to have a mental breakdown or to develop schizophrenia if she was predisposed to this. She went through a very traumatic chase with these men, and that could have triggered schizophrenia if she was predisposed, or could have triggered a mental breakdown because it's an extremely stressful situation that she was placed in. Human trafficking, I feel, is way more of an issue than is recorded in the statistics. It's also possible that she is hiding from someone if she feels more safe this way. I personally have two theories on this case. My first is that she completely left of her own accord and wants to stay gone for a while. The half-full garbage bag could support this theory. She could have left her apartment, she could have picked things up with the cash that she had, stuffed them in the garbage bag so that they didn't get wet, and then left and traveled somewhere. My second theory, I think it's possible that she had a lot of anxiety surrounding what had happened. She went through a very traumatic chase with these two men. She was already extremely homesick after visiting her family for Christmas, and she needed to go for a walk to clear her mind. Yes, in the rain, yes, with no jacket, yes, with no cell phone. I think most people with anxiety can relate to that. To that mindset of, I need to get out, I need to de-stress myself, I need to just go. I think a lot of us have experienced that. I've done it myself. If you're someone who enjoys walking in the rain, like me, then that's not going to deter you. And then when she went out for this walk, something bad could have happened during this walk. She could have ran into those two men. Hopefully that theory is completely wrong, and hopefully she either left on her own accord or she is hiding from someone because she feels safer that way and will come out soon. Holly's dad said, quote, "I'm just asking and hoping that people continue to look for her and continue to care as much as they have." All of Holly's friends and family are hoping from support from each of us to locate Holly. The Hamilton community has come together greatly to support Holly, her family, and her friends in this search. They have been amazing. If you have any sighting of Holly or had in the past 3 months, please use the contact information below and put those sightings, those tips into the police. If you feel you know anything about her disappearance at all, even if it's something that you feel is insignificant or small, submit it. You don't know, that could be what breaks the case. If you would like to remain anonymous with your tips for whatever reason, you can do so by submitting it to Crime Stoppers, and that information will be below as well. Keep a lookout even if you don't live in Ontario, because so much time has passed now that Holly could literally be anywhere. I'll link resources below, as well as the surveillance video, the voicemail, the family's GoFundMe, and their Facebook page. If you would like to discuss Holly's case further, I welcome you to do that in the comments section below, but as always, please be respectful if you're going to comment anything. Be safe and be good to each other.